There are communities that will both be inundated by coastal sea rise as well as Fraser River flooding. Basically every year they are at threat of flooding their entire communities. We're past the tipping point. And then what? Well, I think that's the unknown. We don't know.
Climate change and sea level rise are impacting coastal communities around the world. The province of British Columbia advises municipalities to plan for 1 meter of sea level rise over the next 80 years. Surrey's coastal floodplain makes up 20% of the city's land base and includes Semiahmoo First Nation, important residential areas, farms and agricultural operations, major infrastructure and transportation corridors, and internationally recognized wildlife and habitat areas. Protecting this area is one of Canada's most extensive flood management systems, including dikes, sea dams, flood boxes, pumps, and spillways, some over a century old. However, with rising sea levels, more frequent storm surges, and increased precipitation, existing flood control measures will not perform in the future. To help improve the resilience of Surrey's coastal floodplain and prepare for climate change and sea level rise, the city recently completed a Coastal Flood Adaptation Strategy, or CFAS for short. The first program of its kind in Canada, CFAS was a multi-year undertaking that blended a value-based, participatory planning approach with a deep technical component to develop a range of actions to help Surrey's coastal communities become more resilient to the challenges ahead. Over 30 organizations and agencies, and over 2,000 residents and other stakeholders participated in the project. The first phase kicked off in 2016 and engaged participants in identifying their values around coastal flood management, which were then used to help develop a wide range of adaptation options. From this work, 46 actions were identified, including infrastructure projects and new flood management programs and policies. Some of the 46 CFAS actions were prioritized as shorter-term projects to be implemented over the next 10 years, while others will be implemented as conditions warrant over the long term. The longer-term strategic directions for the 3 CFAS planning areas illustrate an 80-year outlook for Surrey's coastal floodplain. These approaches will require more detailed planning in the future. The strategic direction for Mud Bay is to gradually develop new infrastructure and management approaches along the Highway 99 corridor to prepare for increased frequency of flooding. For Crescent Beach, the longer-term planning challenges are even greater. In time, as sea levels continue to rise, an approach will be explored where the shoreline is built up and extended into the sea. At Semiahmoo Bay, we envision the potential raising of some roads in collaboration with Semiahmoo First Nation, the federal government, the City of White Rock, and the City of Surrey. Recognizing the scale of some of the long-term strategic directions, CFAS is taking an adaptive and flexible approach that will be responsive to new climate data, new government policies, and new funding opportunities as they emerge. In spring 2019, the CFAS project received a large $77 million grant from the federal government's Disaster Mitigation Adaptation Fund to support the development of 13 shorter-term projects. To be implemented over the next several years, the investments will help address current flood concerns and align with the long-term CFAS strategic directions. As we start implementing our first CFAS projects, we would like to thank those who have been on the coastal adaptation journey with us. Let's continue to work together in building our resilience and preparing Surrey's coastline for sea level rise by moving from planning to action.